Over the years, GameCube video quality has been a tricky subject. This is due to the fact that the highest quality connection that the GameCube uses is component video. Component video on the GameCube was only available through special cables that Nintendo themselves sold on their online website. Not many people bought these, leading to these cables becoming exceptionally rare and expensive, leaving people to deal with S-video quality. Over the last few years, there have been multiple HDMI solutions to GameCube video quality. However, the folks over at Retrobit have recently released a new component solution perfect for CRTs and upscalers. This is the Retro Prism component cable from Retrobit. First, let's take a look at the cable itself. Build quality is very nice. The connector at the end is sturdy and feels high quality. However, it kind of feels a little wide. I'm not sure why they had to make it that wide, but whatever, it works. From there, the cable is thick, which then breaks out into the actual component cables. The color scheme matches the HD Retrovision component cables if you're a fan of those. The Retro Prism component cables requires no extra power. You simply just plug it into your GameCube and you're good to go. Alright, let's stop wasting time and get to what really matters, the video quality. When playing GameCube games, the video quality looks great. Colors are vibrant, and these cables support 480p GameCube games. In order to activate 480p on GameCube games, just press B on your controller when starting up. Quality looks really great. However, you might be wondering, do these cables provide any significant quality upgrade over Wii component cables? The Nintendo Wii had GameCube compatibility, and component cables for that console are cheap and inexpensive. So, is there any reason you should be using these $60 component cables as opposed to the Wii's $10 component cables? And the answer really is no. You can't tell the difference between GameCube component video and Wii component video. They look exactly the same. So personally, in my opinion, if you only want to play GameCube games, unless you really want to play on a GameCube, I would recommend playing them on a Wii instead. If you're looking at a thrift store, you can get a Wii and a pair of component cables for less than the price of these GameCube component cables. So you might be asking, if you think these cables aren't worth it for GameCube games, then why would you want to purchase these component cables? And the answer is simple: Game Boy Advance games. The Game Boy Player was a great accessory for the GameCube, attaching to the bottom and containing real Game Boy Advance hardware. However, if you want the video quality to look good, the official GameCube disc isn't going to get you anywhere. What you need is the ability to run homebrew called Swiss and a piece of software called the Game Boy Interface. The best resolution for upscaling GameCube games is 360p, which is a resolution you can't achieve using S-video or composite cables. Meaning you need these component cables in order to output this 360p resolution. In order to get your GameCube to output 360p, download the GBI software, go to the presets folder, and select the GBI-HF-OSSC.dal+CLI file. Take this file and load it onto your SD card, and launch that when you want to play GameCube games. Using the RetroTink 5X, these Game Boy Advance games look absolutely beautiful. They even look better than any emulator I've ever seen. To be honest, a YouTube video with web compression does not do these games justice. They look absolutely stunning using the Retro Prism component cables. In my opinion, if you're going to be buying these cables, this is the reason to buy them. So, are there any big problems with them, you might ask? And unfortunately, yes, there is a pretty big problem. And that has to do with the audio using these component cables. When you first start up your GameCube, you'll notice nothing wrong. And you'll even notice nothing wrong for the first few minutes of playtime. Then after a few minutes, you'll start hearing this super weird audio distortion. Eventually it becomes unbearable. So then, you might ask, do these cables suck? Well, fortunately for these cables, the solution is really simple. Just grab the composite video cables that came with your console, plug those in, and use the audio from those cables instead of the audio from the component cables. If this solution sounds familiar, it should. This solution is actually the same thing Nintendo had you do with their official component cables, as those cables didn't include audio. This makes me wonder if there's something wrong with the audio on the GameCube digital port. So I would keep that in mind if you somehow don't have a pair of GameCube composite cables to use for audio. So what's the verdict? Should you buy the Retrobit Retro Prism GameCube component cables? Well, personally, I think these appeal most to two people. The first group of people are the people who have a high quality upscaler like the RetroTink 5X or the OSSC, and want to use the best quality with Game Boy Advance games. The second group of people are people who just want to get high quality video out of their GameCube but want to spend the least money. Most GameCube HDMI solutions are $80, while these GameCube component cables are $60, which is $20 less expensive. For those of you who want to skip the upscaler and plug these component cables directly into your TV, I've recorded some footage of these GameCube component cables running on an HDTV with component input. When running GameCube games, it looks really nice. You don't really need an upscaler to get a good image with 480p sources. However, the place you'll really be able to tell the difference is with Game Boy Advance games, as it's a lot less sharp when you don't use 360p through a upscaler like the RetroTink. Overall, I'd say that if you don't want to use an upscaler, and your TV supports component input, I'd say that these cables are a good option for you, especially considering they are $20 cheaper compared to HDMI solutions. However, I should note, if you want to use your GameCube with an upscaler and you already have an HDMI solution, a simple HDMI to component conversion box should be able to get the job done instead of having to purchase entirely new cables. And before you consider buying these, you should make sure that your GameCube has the digital video out port on the back. If it doesn't, then you should not buy these, as it will not work with your console. It's always great to see new GameCube video solutions come out. All in all, I hope by now you know whether or not you want to buy these GameCube component cables. Have a great day and enjoy your gaming.